So this here behind me used to be kerns. I took the two inside kerns down and I'm attaching them to my tarp. See that? I'm stitching it all by hand. It's all stitched up here. I got a stitch down here across the bottom, up the center, so that, you know, both will be secured. And I've got part of this stitch too up to here. So then I'll have to finish going along the bottom. It's like 6 o'clock now on Saturday, March 19th. You think, gee, why isn't the house done? Because I would have to do it every single day. And I do try to do it every day. It's actually, I did last night. Hey, did my plants there last night. I know, doesn't look like it, but anyway. Why am I making this video? Oh, I'm making this video because I'm showing you that for me to get my house done, I have to get these projects done. This here, as you see, a long time ago when I got the tarp and was going to use it, I taped, scotch taped, packaging tape, clear sheet to it. Now, with that said, I need to make 2 trailers. I was going to make them today, but because of the weather, I'm going to save it for Tuesday. But with that said too, that gives me time. I can finish this up today. I can finish it today, right? Finish this today, all the sewing, so when I use it, it's not going to rip. Second, so I'm going to make 2 trailers. I called and talked to my son or my second son, talked to the CRA and talked to my mom. I told her I was going to make these 2 trailers today, but you know, because of the job I'm doing, the tarp will rip, so reinforcing it makes really good sense. Hear that? What, I would just throw that away? Probably. Well, what good is it then if it's just garbage? That's just it. It's not garbage. And by using this material, because it's very strong, stronger than a tarp, it is going to prevent the tarp from becoming garbage. And so these 3 materials all put together are, the idea is, just like your food and your superfood, you eat combinations of food and it makes everything better. It's like creating a superfood. You do this with any material, right? You add steel to wood as a compound frame or something to that extent, and it just gets stronger and better. So the same idea. And I was going to tell you, I was going to make this into a trailer. Can you picture it? Well, see, that's just it. That's why I'm making this video. So my mom and my family and my friends, the fuck? Anyway, so they can see when I'm telling them and trying to explain something, they're like, you're telling me this, but I can't visualize it. I'm like, all right, I will make it. But you know, I really don't want to make it by myself. And that's why I said to my mom a few years ago, just sit down, keep me company, talk to me while I do the work. And she like, you know what? It's nice out there. It's a hot day. I don't want to be stuck inside. I got nothing really to say. I just look stupid, drink coffee, watching you work. And I'm like, well, you can help me work. I don't want to do that. But you will love this. This is like watching the future being made. Yeah, no, I got better things to do. So with that, I was trying to explain to her yesterday on the phone. I was like, you know, the marketing and advertising department at a school, or maybe it was the school board, were like, you know what, we got to advertise what we do. We got to show the impact going to our school will make. So what'd they do? Yeah. At one time, they used to have science fairs. And those are fun and everything good about them. You have magicians and all these other people doing this stuff at school, at birthdays, you name it. We go to parks and fairs and they have events, and there'll be somebody mixing something up. Hey, look at that. And we're like, hey, that's kind of cool. Thank you. So, with all this said, the marketing or advertising or somebody came up with really good idea. Maybe you know it is called Robot Wars, and it played for a few years, advertising the schools and the programs and what they could do if you sent your child to school, and you know, they get to do this really cool stuff. They make little robots and they can have wars. I've only seen it like once or twice, but I got a Welder's Fabrication magazine, and I was reading it, and there was this one team of 4 individuals, and they had one girl on it, and I realized, like a really long time ago, that both boys and girls, men and women, they like doing stuff that's fun. And it doesn't have to have a purpose. It doesn't have, you know what? Some people, I was one of those people who went to school just socialize. Learning was not a really big interest of mine. You know what was an interest of mine? Going to school and socializing with the kids. Yeah, that didn't really work out so good for me. But when you look at parents sending their kids to school or homeschooling them, by all, no matter what you put in a perspective, the culture and society we have, and probably all around the world, really, takes and separates the family. And it's not supposed to harm the family. But you look and you see, all of a sudden, you have everybody else raising your child, and your child starts developing characteristics, tendencies, idiosyncrasies, all these traits and behaviors and views and all these things. How Junior learn that? Well, I don't know. I thought you said that. I thought you... Wasn't you? Wasn't me. I thought it was you. No? Okay. So we'll talk to Lass, and we'll talk to Lassie, because she's acting obscure and saying these irrelevant things that just boggle the mind, and we can't get around where our kids are figuring these ideas or gaining these views or whatever it might be. Whoever told them about bad news? Oh, it was the Bears, and it was a baseball team. Oh, I knew we shouldn't have got that movie for them, but they love it. We gotta slow them down on the amount of time they spend in front of the screen. Maybe we'll start helping them learn how to read a book. Yeah. What do you think of that? No, that ain't going to work. Well, anyway, so when you're building a future and you're doing these things with the people you like, whether they're your friends, your family, your kids, your spouse, somebody you want to develop a relationship with, there got to be a reason. Just like the kids at the schools who are in competition with Robot Wars, right? So when you understand that competition was created to advertise martial arts schools, to advertise Robot Wars, and to advertise a school teaching these kids these things. And same with the Olympics and the Paralympics, to give them some kind of platform where they can learn a skill, develop a whole bunch of characteristics and traits that are going to help them out in a real world, because in a real world, you don't have to be an Olympian. You just have to get along with people, right? Yeah. So anyway, yeah, I also wrote from 8:30 until like 11 o'clock. I wrote 6 pages, 6 full pages, 2 hours 38 minutes. I never did count the words. I just don't have time. So, and I called the story Sensory Power. Stories told unfold sensory power. I was going to read it on camera, and I put away 20 pages that I wrote other stories to. I was going to read those on camera, but you know, it takes a long time just to write, about 25-30 minutes a page, handwriting. So maybe I could type it faster, but I like writing, and just, you know what? I think it looks good. I don't know about you, but I think I like the way I write. I like things I do. Anyway, I'm just sharing. You don't take nothing I say to heart. Just see it, understand it, and go, I can't wait to see the other 2 shelves installed. See the bathroom and see that finished. See these 2 trailers that I'm going to make and see what I do with them. Apparently sounds like, Dad, all I see is your house is too full. You got to throw this stuff away. If you throw anything away, I will be surprised, because I think you're emotionally attached to it all. And I said, no, son. See, I'm telling you what the problem is. You are focused on all the stuff. The only reason there's all stuff is so I don't have to go buy the stuff, and I can use these materials and build the things that I want. And that's where they're, but see, I keep on telling you, the electrical, the plumbing, the holes in the wall and ceiling, these are things that any landlord wants to take care of, because it's really easy to throw everything out. It's the time spent after a tenant has left that landlord, or those people who own the building or the house or wherever you rent, they are not concerned with the stuff in your house unless it's attracting vermin or rodents or something. It's going to damage and really bad. But what they're concerned about, providing none of that is happening, what they're concerned about is the costs incurred on them personally, as they have to fix and put that apartment or the house or that residence back into the shape it was when you rented it. So when you see that, I gotta fix the walls. Anything I do, the idea is to make it so landlord just has to do what any normal landlord would have to do without going over, because if they got to do the work themselves, you're taking away their time from their family and their friends and things that they would do in their life, or you're taking away their money that they have spent to hire somebody else to do things that they would have done to save the money. So, like I said, the stuff you throw off the balcony or throw out the door and have somebody else take everything to garbage or to curb and be done within X amount of time. The stuff I have here, I'd probably empty this house out if everything was to go to garbage or something like that. I could have it done in a matter of 4 or 5 hours, probably sooner, because I would have somebody standing outside putting stuff where, oh, if this is going to be taken in a scrap metal dealer, I'm getting paid. I'm getting some of my money back. Well, if this is going to donation, great. I will get a receipt and get 20% or some kind of deal for donating stuff. And, you look at all this, and people make money, if possible, by doing this with stuff that is left at a home or a residence. So, with all this said, it makes really, really good sense to understand if you were in a rush, what's the biggest priority or concern? Well, in all things, whatever you can't do by yourself is your greatest priority and concern. And a reason for that being is because now you're affecting somebody else, right? Whether it be a city, like the city employees, your neighbors, whoever it is, if somebody has to come in and do what you can't do, all of a sudden, you're creating a disturbance in the force. You get that, right? And somebody really smart came up with that. And I never really applied that to real life. I mean, I watch stories, I love movies, all this stuff, but we aren't taught to apply this stuff to our real lives. These are just stories. But then when I started learning about writing and how just the mere sharing of ideas affect people, it's like planting a seed and all of a sudden a person goes and does it. I did not know that. I mean, I experienced it, but the awareness is only surface level. You're only like, oh, well, yeah, you said that, so I went and did that. But you don't understand that, oh, there are things like the 7 mysteries of the world, and you want the 7 skulls that were here for who knows how long, and it'd be impossible to recreate these supposed skulls that have been lost. And to date, I think 1 to 3 have been found, but it's told that there are like more of them. So you actually have treasure hunters and people digging up Oak Island and all these other places all around the world looking for, you heard about the Dead Scrolls, right? So there are things that have been lost in time on planet because planet's forever changing. Whereas on the moon, those footprints could stay there for a really, really, really long time. Now, I got a question for you. Riddle me this. If I want to terraform another planet, what makes you think that we aren't terraforming this planet? Yeah, we are. And so all the knowledge that every single person has, the more knowledge you have, the more stuff you can do, right? So if I had a piece of land, or, and this applies to pretty much anybody, you are not building nothing on that land unless you get a permit. Now, with that said, if you knew how to make clay bricks out of your land, don't you think you could make adobe? Probably. Guess what? Most people don't. And there's a reason. It's easier to just go buy them. But see, when I'm watching stories of the new frontier and all these stories of people who are roughing it out in the wilderness, and there are survival guides who know how to survive. Now, if you knew how to take raw material and transform it into like building material, guess what? You're going to have way better chances of surviving and living a good life as opposed to the alternative and living in the trees or in a cave or something like this, right? So, I mean, real life, you look at history and you see people in poverty, and yet they have this land. And if they knew how to use the materials from the land, they could create business. They could build themselves a better home using mud and straw, grass, right? There's so many different ways of using just raw materials, and this is the knowledge that is lost, that if all of electronics were all sun, or all the books burned, or the world was flooded with misinformation, it's the people who are alive and who know how to do like the stuff that is in the books. These are the tradespeople and the backbone of society, right? Because they have hands-on experience and they can do this stuff. Oh, you make mortars for a living? Oh, you work with electricity for a living? Oh, you can make any product because you turn raw material and you make it usable. Those are really, really beneficial things. But not everybody can know everything, so that's why you have society the way it is. Yeah, I should probably try this video again and make it for like, what, 1 minute? Yeah, I know that feeling.